We're going to take a look at the sine rule here. So the sine rule is essentially helping us find angles and lengths of sides when we don't actually have a right angle triangle. So before we could use this basic trig and we could do it, but here we don't have a right angle triangle. So what I'm going to do, the first thing I'm going to do is just label this triangle that I have here. Now the information that we've been given is going to be an angle of 80 degrees here. We've been given this side here, A equaling 4, and we've been told here that B equals 7. So I'm just going to go ahead and label this now. So if I have a small a here, it means my big angle or big A will be there. It means that side is going to be C, and the big C is going to be there. Now, the first thing it wants us to do is find, it wants us to find A here, C, and subsequently C at the top there. So all we want to do is check if this meets the sine rule. Now the sine rule is essentially a rule of pairs. It says that A over sine of A equals B over sine of B equals C over sine of C. Now we can actually do this in reverse as well. We could look for something where I had the sine of A over A equals the sine of B over B equals the sine of C over C, because it's still just a ratio. When you're looking at it and you're comparing ratios, it will actually be the same. But we're going to stick with this up here. So we're going to look for matching sets. Now the first angle I'm going to find is going to be angle A. The reason I'm doing this is because I have some information here. So my first set is going to be those numbers there, and my second set is going to be that there. So if I'm using those two sets and I want to substitute it in my formula, well, my first set, I'm going to say that A over the sine of A is going to equal, what do I have? B over sine of B there. So if I have a little look here and substitute these values in, I know the value of A is going to be 4. I'm going to find the sine of A. I know the value of B already because that's my second set. I also know the sine of B to be 80 degrees. Now, I could solve for sine of A here pretty easily by moving sine of A onto this side, then moving that over and isolating sine of A, doing the inverse sine. But I mentioned up here that we could reverse how we actually perform the operation. I'm going to try to plug it into this and see if it's going to be easier for me to actually work out. So the same thing I'm going to do here. Instead of A on the sine of A, I'm going to say sine of A over A equals the sine of B over B. Now I'm going to write that and just see if it looks any nicer for me. So the sine of A over A, and my value for A I know is 4, is going to equal the sine of B, which is the sine of 80, as we found here, over B, which is 7. Now this actually ends up being a lot easier for me to solve. If I rearrange this, I would get the exact same line as the next line I'm about to do. I'm going to move the 4 up here to isolate the sine of A. So it would end up being 4 sine 80 over 7. Now I want to isolate the value for A, or the angle for A. So A is going to equal the inverse sine of 4 sine 80 over 7. Let me just move this. And that is going to equal somewhere in the realm of about 34.2 degrees, something like that. So there I found my value for A. Cool, easy. So A is done, and it's going to be about 34.2 degrees. Now, I have more matching sets again, but I can instantly find the value of C down here pretty easily. I have 80 degrees, I have 32.4 degrees. So to find C, I'm just going to do it in this corner here, angle of C, I'm going to be 180 degrees at the triangle, minus the 80 degrees that we have, minus the 34.2, So my angle for C is going to be approximately 65 point, what's that, 8, something like that. Is that it? Something. Let me have a look. Yeah, it'll be 65.8. About 65.8 degrees. So I've got that. Now I need to find the length of side C. That's going to be pretty easy. Let me just get a new bit of paper here. So I want to find the length of side C. Pretty straightforward. I'm going to find two matching sets again. So I'm going to stick with B. I want to find side C, so I'm going to put the little c at the top of side C equals B on sine of B. So substitute the values in. I don't know C. I found out what that was going to be back here, and that was about 65.8. So sine on 65.8 equals B, which is 7 on the sine of 80. Rearrange for C, it will be 7 sine 65.8 degrees over sine of 80 degrees. And that's going to equal somewhere in the realm of about 6.48. I don't have any units there, but I'll have my units there. So I found that to be 6.48, and I've managed to fill out all the values on my triangle without using trigonometry. Now there's a case where it is ambiguous because you essentially need to find two possible values for an angle. However, I'm not going to cover that in this video.